Welcome back for part 3. So far in part 2, you've looked at part 1 and 2, you've looked at some of the basic details of light bulbs and then kind of expanded it to look at their lifespan data. Because it's not just how much the light bulb costs off the shelf, but it's how much energy it uses for its lifetime and how much that lifetime energy impacts not only your home and your costs, but also the earth. So as you finished up part 2 here, you just ended with a calculation of amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. And what we're doing here in part 3 is just comparing that and really thinking about, why is that important? So compare the carbon emissions from the two types of bulbs and fill in your data below. So LED, that was the top, so you can fill that one in. Compared to incandescent, that produce your second one. And so just give a little explanation here of why they have a difference in CO2. They're both light bulbs, so what is happening to cause a difference in CO2? And again, remember, CO2 output is based on energy use. So what do we know about amounts of energy used by those two light bulbs? There's two factors that you could really consider. You could think about time that the light bulb is used, and you could also think about overall energy the light bulb used. So you can talk about the difference in those more or less and why. Number 2, when thinking about the carbon cycle, what carbon cycle process would light bulbs and electricity impact? So this is going way back to carbon cycle that we did in January, December, right? Thinking about carbon cycle and those arrows, which process is explaining use of fossil fuels for energy. And finally, number 3, what is the importance of knowing CO2 emissions for light bulbs and other appliances? So kind of thinking back to earlier this week, what is important about knowing, or why is it important about knowing about our carbon footprint? Why is that something we should be in the know and be trying to control? So a little bit of connecting the dots here in part 3, using your data to explain why they have different data, and then here, why is that important to think about for light bulbs and all other appliances.